Joining us now on set for Analysis is Leigh Bradberry, Associate Professor of Political Science from Cal State Northridge. Thanks so much for joining us, Professor.
Thank you.
First, let's talk about the no endorsement vote at the California Party Convention this weekend. Feinstein rival State Senate President Pro Tem Kevin De Leon actually got 54% of the vote, not the necessary 60. But what do you make of his showing over the more moderate Feinstein?
Well, on the one hand, you could say this is a shocking development because she's been in the Senate for 25 years. But it's a little bit of deja vu, in my opinion, to the 2016 primary between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. I think you had a lot of Democratic voters 2 years ago thinking that Clinton was not progressive enough. And so I do think you see an ideological divide, at least among the delegates. I think you might also be seeing some kind of generational issue here, and I do not mean to suggest that this is about Senator Feinstein's age per se. But when you have senators and representatives who are there for 20, 25, 30 years or more in some cases, I think it's very difficult for the parties to kind of regenerate themselves. And so it could be some of that as well. But one important thing to keep in mind is that in California we have this top two primary system. And so what you could see is Feinstein and De Leon against each other in the general election. And if that's the case, we have a lot of independents, we have a lot of people who don't state a party in their registration, and it's very unlikely, I think, that Feinstein would lose to De Leon if you take into account those voters because she is more moderate.
Very true. Now, Cristina Garcia was endorsed as well amid sexual misconduct allegations. What do you make of that?
I think it's very difficult to figure out what's going on because if you think about, for example, the Al Franken situation and how the Democratic Party took a very strong stance and actually upset a lot of their own constituents by forcing Al Franken out, this seems to be inconsistent with that, but perhaps, you know, when a little bit more time passes, we'll see that support for her will fall off.
All right, let's talk about the FBI. Their actions under scrutiny again. Does the Democratic rebuttal to the GOP memo critical of the Bureau's surveillance practices add more clarity to the issue?
Well, unfortunately, I think this is one of those situations where it depends on your partisanship. But because I'm also a lawyer by training, I think it's really important for us to try to look at facts and logic. And I think when you look at the Nunes memo itself, he specifically says in there that the counterintelligence investigation began in July of 2016. The Carter Page FISA application did not happen until October of 2016, and so just logically speaking, something that happens in October cannot cause something that happens in July. And also, I know it seems like a lifetime ago, but just a few weeks ago, Trey Gowdy was on CBS's Face the Nation, and he specifically said that the Nunes memo had no impact on the Russia probe. And he is, of course, very well known, very vocal in the Benghazi probe, and he's also the only Republican on the Intelligence Committee who saw the underlying intelligence behind the Nunes memo. And so I think that what does Carter Page have to do with the underlying investigation that started in July of 2016? The facts would say nothing.
All right, lots more to be discussed on that in the coming months, I am sure. Now, finally, the last day of the Olympics today, the big diplomatic development on the Korean Peninsula where Ivanka Trump representing the U.S. What do you make of word that North Korea is open to tri-party talks now?
Well, I'm a bit of a cynic by nature, but I think that anytime you're talking about something as serious as potential nuclear war, it's a good sign when any of the parties signal that they're willing to talk to each other. I think the Olympics presented a very good venue for North and South Korea to have some diplomatic relations. And I think that, you know, the United States signaled it was open by sending Mike Pence. I know that didn't work out, but I think that it shows that if both parties, the United States and North Korea, are at least willing to engage with each other, then that could be a very good sign for peace.
And Ivanka Trump, though, was originally criticized for going, but now there's these developments.
Right.
Should she be getting praise?
Well, it does make you wonder, where is the Secretary of State? You know, has he been demoted? And so I think that's a very serious question. If we do have some kind of talks, who will go? Mike Pence, Rex Tillerson, State Department career diplomats, or Ivanka? But I think that, you know, her going was a positive thing. I just think it remains to be seen when it comes to formal talks or formal negotiations, who is going to represent the United States.
All right, thank you so much for all of your opinions, Professor Leigh Bradberry of Cal State Northridge.
Thank
you
you
so much.